Hello, everybody. Well, I am back again. This is Stro. You are tuning into the Stro Show. I hope everyone is having a fantastic week, as am I. We haven't talked in a while. I remember the last time we talked, it was right before the NFL free agency. So, you know, a lot has happened since then. If a lot of you don't know me, I am Jesse, aka Stro. This is my show, a fellow Spring Branch native. A lot of basketball background, played for your Springwoods Tigers. Again, thanks for all the listeners, and I appreciate everybody who goes on and plays my podcast and listens to your up-to-date Rockets, Texans, Astros, MMA, boxing, dynamo, whatever it might be, whatever's hot at the moment. I'm going to give you those updates for it. Right now, again, like I said earlier, it's been a while since we talked last time. And, you know, the sports world never stops 24/7 constantly. That's why, of course, we have Sports Center stuff and all the and the stuff on the internet, Bleacher Report, that gives you those updates all the time. I'm going to do my best to give you the updates of your favorite Houston sport teams. I'm going to try doing that show in and show out and what's been going on from our last visit. So last time, Texans going into a very huge part of their offseason, which would be NFL free agency, which I'll tell you, we're not accustomed to it, but our Houston Texans sure did have a busy first day of free agency. They went out and acquired some big name guys, two that everybody right off the bat, when you hear what the Texans did in the NFL free agency, right off the bat you think of Lamar Miller and Brock Osweiler. Before, in our last show, I did mention the Texans were looking to make a run at Brock Osweiler, and was he the man? Being an all-time Texans fan myself, in my opinion, you always have to be wary. I think the Texans organization did a very good job of going out and getting their guy. Now, it's a risk that the Texans were willing to take, but let's see if it pays off. And I'm not going to be, I'm happy to see the organization is addressing the issue, because that was the number one issue on the team, is we never had a quarterback. Going through 7 or 8 different quarterbacks, shipping them off after we're done with them, backup quarterbacks. And funny to say, this is another backup quarterback. It happens to be the backup quarterback for the team who just won the Super Bowl and happened to play behind Peyton Manning for the past 4 years. So we'll see what Brock Osweiler has to bring. It's all about seeing visuals, and Rick Smith and Bill O'Brien had seen enough on Brock Osweiler to pull the trigger to what some would say is the hottest quarterback on the market, hitting free agency last month. So, hey, we got the hottest guy on the market. We'll see how he performs. Texans, I still believe, are on the rise, especially with their other free agent signing. We all know that we cut Arian Foster. He is no longer with the team. Thank you, Arian Foster, for all those great years, but you just couldn't stay healthy long enough. And we replace a guy with a home run hitter, Lamar Miller, former Miami Dolphin running back, Florida guy, so he's been in Florida all his life. So we'll see. This is a fresh new start for Lamar Miller, and we all know the Texans love to run the ball, so he couldn't pass up on an opportunity like this, being on a team with J.J. Watt as well on the defensive side, him being on the offensive side, and him torching the Texans last season in the most embarrassing loss last season against the Dolphins. Lamar Miller had a field day. Maybe I can pull some of those stats up. Let me check that out real quick. All right, let's look here. Lamar Miller torched us again, like I just said. First, let's start with his receptions. The Miami Dolphins ended up beating the Texans 44-26. Lamar Miller had 3 receptions, 61 yards, 1 touchdown, and that's receiving. On the rushing end, 14 attempts, 175 yards, and a touchdown. I'm pretty sure that was enough for Rick Smith and Bill O'Brien to see in Lamar Miller and bringing him over this team. Hot commodity and free agent. Graded one of the best pickups this year in free agency so far. So good things for the Texans. They signed some other free agents. Just today announced that Brandon Weeden will be back to the Houston Texans as probably a third string guy. I'm hoping so. I'm still not as confident with Brandon Weeden being the second guy behind Brock. We all know Brock's the guy getting paid the money that he got paid, $72 million, around $40 million guaranteed. So Brock's going to be the guy. Another thing I'm happy about to see is, Denver just didn't give us this guy. They were, during free agency fighting for this guy, and they were willing to pay him $60. We were just willing to pay him more cash. And, hats off to Steve McNair for extending his wallet further for this guy. So, again, we'll see what he's made of. Being a Houston Texan, he talks the talk. Let's see if he can walk the walk. J.J. Watt, that's the guy who seems to talk the talk and is able to walk the walk. He backs it up 100%. Guy is incredible. I see J.J. Watt as a testament of why these guys want to come here and why Houston's such a hot place, because you have J.J. Watt, a generational player. LT just came out and said it. He is a one-time player every 20 to 30 years. So it's incredible to have a guy like that on your team. Obviously, free agents look at that type of stuff and want to come to play for the Houston Texans. So we'll see how this season. I think definitely on the rise. AJ Aboye, another free agent signing that we kept here, had a very solid season. We re-signed him. So a lot of question marks. The draft April 28th. We'll see what the Texans was direction. Right now, my opinion, I think we should get that stretch guy. We have, Cecil Shorts as a slot guy. We have DeAndre Hopkins as that superstar number 1 receiver. But if we can get a guy to stretch the field with speed like Braxton Miller from Ohio State, Texans are going to be dangerous. Then I mentioned Brock has an arm as well. So get somebody like Martavius Bryant or Antonio Brown. Whew, man, I'm excited to see in what direction. Hopefully they kill this draft. And the Texans are going to be a sneaky pick for the Super Bowl. Hopefully, Super Bowl being in Houston, we have a home Super Bowl. And I don't remember when's the last time that happened, but that would be incredible. So, yes, again, don't forget to check out the Texans Draft Day, April 28th. This month, it's coming faster than you think. It's going to be fun to see what we do. Upgrade this team to another level. If they can ace this draft, and they have so many directions they can go in, Texans can be brought into another level. We'll see what Rick Smith got, because I believe all these moves at this year is over directly Rick Smith and Bill O'Brien's head, because they have told us regularly that they are working together and it's not one or the other. So see how this two-headed monster goes. Again, April 28th for the NFL Draft, your Houston Texans with the first round with the 22nd pick. Let's go, Texans. Let's go. Alrighty, now on to the one that hits home the most, I guess because of my basketball background and basketball being something that I learned to love at an early age and played all my life and still play today. The Houston Rockets. I don't know if I'm the only believer left out there. I mean, I don't even know if I can still consider myself a believer, but the Rockets have had so many blown opportunities this season. It's ridiculous. It has been tough to constantly watch the product that the Houston Rockets organization has built out there this year. Harden's doing everything he can willingly. I know his turnovers are up from normal, actually averaging the most in the league. That is something he must harness. He must stop doing the lazy passes. Rockets coming off a loss. And before I get into, players and everything, Rockets coming off a loss last night to the Chicago Bulls, a game that they had won, and then they go on their cold spurt, leading by, I believe, at least 14, 15 points going in the third quarter, coming out of the gates in the half very well, and then just going through a dry spell, losing 103-100. Started off the game in 7th place in the Western Conference Finals. With this loss, has now fell to the 9th place in the Western Conference. So the Rockets making as tough as they can on themselves this season. Note that if we don't make the playoffs, we'll get a better first-round pick, as to where if we do make the playoffs, I believe we don't have a first-round pick because it's in a trade or something. Got to get more information on that, but this has been a seesaw season, and it's coming down to the wire. 6 games remaining. We got the OKC Thunder, of course, a rivalry that I love. Prime time, 2:30 Central Time on ABC here at home. So that'll be a great game to attend to if you can. Maybe I'll check out the tickets. Haven't been to a game in a while this season, but the Rockets, I don't know. It seems to me that this supporting cast that they put around Harden has just given up, or it's not effective. You got Jason Terry interviewing for college gigs as a coach. I mean, he's not fully into it this season. He's done, and I really don't think we should re-sign him for this year. He's too old. I'm excited he can hit the 3, but that's about it. That's all he can do. Beasley, who has been, I don't think if we gotten Beasley, we wouldn't be into the playoff discussion. Beasley has came in and put a spark in this team to at least make these games more competitive and give the guys extra effort, because what he's doing out there is giving more confidence and effort in the guys on the bench and even the starting squad. He seemed to mature. His game has seemed to mature and become more patient and score some points off the bench. Last night's game against the Bulls kind of gave it away in the fourth quarter, in the end of the second half. Harden with 24 points, 8 assists. Dwight Howard with 13 rebounds. Another thing, why is Dwight Howard on the bench in the fourth quarter? I don't understand. I respect JB Bickerstaff for the way he's kind of puppeted this whole show, because I truly believe that Daryl Morey has JBB as a puppet. You're going to run this offense, let it go through James Harden. And that's not JB's fault, but if JB can't stand up to that and say, let me be my own coach, and Morey be out of it, we need a coach in there that will step up and do that and put Morey in his place. Let him do the general managing and let me do the coaching. We need a coach that is going to get these players prepared every night and have an offense that's fluid, have an offense that's going to get guys moving. And that's part of the reason why the Rockets lose in these last second half games, because the ball just stops. The ball just stays one place, isolation to Harden. Everybody knows what's coming. You have to figure a way to incorporate that throughout the whole game, fluid